Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the BTS Podcast TZ. It's a beautiful day and we're having another interesting conversation that I'm sure you'll be very glad to dive in. So without wasting time, what will we be talking about today? So today's topic is the corporate hustle, navigating work, success, and burnout as a woman. I'm going to repeat that again. The corporate hustle. So leo tutakuwa tunaongelea everything corporate, the ladders, the burnout, the success that comes with it. I'm sure you're interested to hear what we've got. Now, without wasting time, I'm joined on set today with two amazing ladies in the corporate hustle, and I can't wait for you to meet them. One is a seasoned media personality with over 15 years in the industry. She's got a mind to share of insights and learnings to share with us. And the other is a seasoned brand expert, a leadership in management and both marketing. Now, without wasting time, I'm your host, Makida Dallas. I'm so happy for you to tune in and let the ladies introduce themselves. Hi, ladies.
Hi. I was ready to introduce myself. You've introduced me though.
But you gotta go again.
So well. Yes. So well. So I'm just gonna say my name, Bhoke. Bhoke Egina, but a lot of you know me by Bhoke. Thank you for having me.
Karibu.
Asante.
We're so happy you're here.
I'm happy I'm here too.
Yeah, I don't need to do long intros either. I'm Rehema Chege. I work for Ogilvy Africa, and I'm so happy for you to have me. I'm so glad.
Karibu Rehema.
Hopefully Kiswahili hakitanichanganisha.
Aha, Kiswahili Kenya.
Kiswahili umesema unakiongea wewe Kiswahili.
Hata ukiongea cha Kikenya.
Ni sawa?
Okay. Tuko sawa.
Sawa. Poa.
So without wasting time, let's start this. It will be interesting to hear getting into the corporate world. What's something that hit you? Something that you are not prepared for, but it just hit you and it threw at you and you realized, oh shit, this is serious. Think about it without the experience that you have right now, your first entry into the world. What corporate threw at you and you were like, I gotta pull out the big pants.
Rehema?
God damn. I don't know if it's what corporate pulled at me, but it's more like life, just realizing, oh my God, you have to grow up and do this job, you're no longer in uni. I think that was the biggest shock, actually, not even at working, but having, I've gotten out of uni. Now I've started working. It was a big difference. I think
the shock, the
culture shock. That was the biggest shock, how you have to wake up early. I'm used to partying. I've been going out partying. Now here I am. I have to look for a job. Getting a job wasn't so easy either. It took like about a year. I think the biggest thing would be how you actually have to know someone. I think for me it was just the biggest shocker. Because even with my first job, it's my friend who hooked me up. Thankfully, he hooked me up. And then from there, I was able to get myself to rise. But I had to know someone, Before I thought, you just apply and you'll get. I remember when I was a young girl, I used to tell my mom, I'm going to buy you a house. Ooh. I'm going to do all these things when I get this big job after I'm done with uni. I'm going to, yes. But it wasn't so easy, So the fact that you actually have to know someone, I think for a majority of us, that's how we get there. I think maybe for me, I have had interviews with people and there's people I have hired who I don't really know, and it happens. But I think that was the one that I was like, okay, so you need to know someone to actually get them to open a door for you. When you're in the corporate itself, you have to have someone either who's mentoring you so you're able to learn the right things. So having the right associations and the right kind of people around you is also very important. So I think I'd say the biggest thing for me was learning that you actually can't do it alone. You need a network of people to help you get there.
Yeah, for me it was the corporate lingo. There's a corporate lingo that I had to learn, but also unspoken expectations that it's known, but it's unspoken. And the biggest one was me coming from uni as well. No, being in uni, because I started working when I was still in uni, and thinking that my workplace is home, is like family. It's, for me, I had to learn the hard way that it's not family. It's not the family you think. Okay, it's a whole different family. And you have to treat it differently as well. You always have to remember that this is your workplace, and this is your workplace, and you can't treat it as if it's you can't be comfortable. In other words, you can't be loose. You can't just go make friends to that extent, even though I've made amazing friends during my time working. But are they your colleagues? Are they your friends? I had to learn that. What are the limitations? How to navigate,
Boundaries.
Yes, boundaries and all of those things. I really had to learn the hard way. It hasn't been easy. So yeah, the corporate lingo, the unspoken expectations for me, and also thinking that this world is put together, and it's not as put together as you think it is. When you're in it, that's when you're like, oh my God, remember when Obama said all these big people in the boardroom, and you think they've got their they've got that figured out, and then when you sit with them, you realize, oh, it's just the titles and all of that, but they're not as intimidating as you think they are. So the world is not as put together as you think it is, but nevertheless, it can still put you in your place, and it can shake you up if you let it. So you have to have thick skin. I think the thick skin part. Yeah, the thick skin is very important for me. And that's what I've learned being in the corporate world. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But we keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Sometimes I think people in the corporate world, you get stuck. You join the corporate world, and it's like what you're saying. You think it's family, but it's not. It's more... Not. It's like a football team, It's not. You're there to play together, towards a common goal. It's like you can never be my family.
Yeah, it's a team.
The way my family is,
Even though you bump heads in a family as well, but it's a team other than family, I think. And once you realize that we work as a team, and then maybe you'd be able to navigate your way around, other than thinking, oh, this is my family, this is my home. That was me when I started working. This is my home, this is my family. No. This is your workplace. This is your team. So be a team player. And then at the end of the day, you go home.
And not everybody has to like you
in
this team.
Kabisa.
Yeah, I think people also get stuck in, oh my God, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
And you've just joined it's like, you have this pressure where you just want everybody to like you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my God, the world is falling apart if they don't. But like, imagine it doesn't matter. You're here to do a job. Just get the job done.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
Interesting. You spoke about titles, the Obama court and everything, and it came to me. Image versus reality. What are some assumptions that people make of you or your career that contradicts the reality? And here's mine. Being in account management for so long, I'm an account director right now, like my 9 to 5. But people think account management is having a pretty face and doing clerk work,
Mm-hmm.
carrying things to the client, then back to agency. They think you're a messenger.
Yeah.
Until when you're in marketing and realize that that's the person who's the link between client and agency. Literally, you're a client in-house.
Yeah.
People tend to think account management is get a pretty lady to sit there. She just has to look nice, take minutes, and do this. But the project management, the strategic thinking that comes with it, it is, whoa. You don't even get to know about it even before getting into the industry.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you can do this. But I think that's wrong. And that's why it's an industry that we're not many of us. It's very niche per se because there are not many agencies. So I think that mistake of thinking that it's clerk work, I was like, a lot of people think account management is a messenger. And that is hardly it. So that's an assumption for me that the truth is like, whoa.
Yeah.
What's yours?
God.
What
You
do
have
think
some
people
stories.
What do people think?
Right?
Assume about you, and it's like, just laugh.
Oh my God, people assume so many things.
The most funny.
People assume, first of all, I'm young and I'm in a
Leadership role.
Yeah, I'm in a leadership role, So there's that. So people just, for some reason, I thank God that I am eloquent. My parents were able to take me to a good school. And so I think there's things that kind of help, right? But just because I'm young, you'll find sometimes people don't always take you as seriously as they should. Well, until they do, right? So there's that. There's just so many things. There's also, I think when I started working, I have an afro. Not a lot of people had afros when, So I remember even one client being like, "Oh, why do you have an afro? You should wear your hair straight." And I just looked at her and in my head, I was like, screw you, but yeah. So there's also like how you look. I'm not going to wear suits and, I'm more comfortable. I also want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things throughout my career that people just assume about you. People also assume, that I've had things handed to me, but I've actually worked hard. I didn't even know how to get my first job. My friend helped me, in as much as my dad is well off, he didn't help me do anything. In fact, my dad, the best he did is educate you. And then he's like, go out into the world and find your way, little girl, and so I found my way. And I think that's the thing. Right? Like, it's always easy to judge a book by its cover, but you actually need to, you need to peel the onion before you judge. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned over the years, because there's so many things I can tell you that people think about me. What I have to do is just remind myself that it's noise and just let it go. Sometimes it's not always as easy. So keep a journal. And, reflect, soak it in sometimes, but find a way to let it go. Yeah.
I'm on TV, so I'm judged before I even walk in a room. It's life. It's every day. And because people see you all the time, they think they know you. They think they know what you're about. So they make their own assumptions before even getting to know you or giving you a chance to, speak or whatnot. And I get this a lot, even with friends or people, acquaintances, colleagues and stuff. They make this comment a lot. And I'm like, do you know the saying that don't judge a book by its cover, right? But we still judge books by their covers. They always say when we meet you, we have a different assumption, and then when we get to know you, you're a completely different person. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what you see. Or you see a 1 hour of a person, even if it's every day, but then that does not mean that you know what she's about. And also because being on TV, also what you said, Makida, about pretty face and whatnot, you're required to be on makeup every day and do the show. You have to have a certain look, so people think that's all you've got. There's nothing else under the surface. You know what I mean? So when you open your mouth and you start talking about this and that, and okay, so kumbe, you have a good head on your shoulders. And I'm thinking, why do you think I'm on TV? You think people on TV are like blondes? No. One of the requirements for any media personality, and I'll tell you, because I work on mainstream, right? One of the requirements is for you to know your ish. You have to know what you're talking about. That's the first requirement. Otherwise, why are you there? It's not an online thing. It's a mainstream. So you have to have knowledge in whatever that you're talking about. And you get to talk about the show that I do. I get to talk about almost everything, right? Everything. It's life. It's every day. So you talk about from politics to family, relationships, lifestyle, all of these things, current news, trending topics. So you gotta have that knowledge. But also, it's not about just being pretty on TV and just being fed all this information. But you as a person, what do you do to better yourself, your knowledge, your skills? When I tell people that I have a degree in law, they're like, oh, what? Oh, what? I'm like, yeah. But why are you on TV? I'm like, is there like a written rule or law that you can't be on TV if you have a law degree? What are you talking about? So for me, I get judged a lot. And it's the life that I've chosen. So I can't complain, really. It comes with the territory. Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you feel, looking back from where we started 10, 15 years in, is it tougher or is it easier for, as a woman, as a female, to climb that corporate ladder? Has it eased over time? Because we know growing up, few of our mothers were actually working, were actually in corporate. Most of us come from stay-at-home mothers. It used to be many of our mothers were more stay-at-home compared to the ones who were in the corporate field.
Yes.
Do you think that has improved? Are we seeing more women in that space? Or what are your sentiments towards that?
She's right here. Right? You're sitting over there.
You're here. Hello. I mean, for me, I think, is it necessarily easier? No. Are there more women who are able to climb the ladder now? For sure. But is it easier? I don't think so. I think it's different for everybody. Because there's a lot of factors that come into play, right? It's like, what organization are you in? Who is in that organization? What kind of leadership do you have in that organization? So there's many different things that will play together. In as much as, yes, organizations have your inclusion and diversity as an agenda where, they have to look at things like gender balance, people who are differently abled and things like that. But it doesn't mean that it's easy. I think it's just everybody has their own journey that they go through. And it's really the people around you and the people within the organization that you're in and your leadership who will influence how you grow and whether you're able to climb the ladder. Right? Because like for me, I think when I started my career, it was influenced by men. And then in the middle, it was influenced by women. Now it's being influenced by men again. So, it changes. I think it really matters what kind of leaders that you have And, and I think that's why a lot of people say why they actually leave organizations is because of the leadership or whatever. Of course, there's money, it's important, we've got bills to pay, but it's like, for me, I think there's also just your principles as well as a person, because there's people who are going to sit there and they'll take shit, but me, I won't do that, So I think there's also things, I think there's a lot that comes into play, right? So is it easier? I don't think so. I think it depends on where you are and the people that are there and who you have around. But are there more women who are in corporate? I think for sure there's more, and it will only get more. But it doesn't mean that it's easier.
Yeah, I second that. But also, yes, we've made progress. There is progress for sure, but it's been very slow. In 2025 marks 30 years since the Beijing meeting in 1995, right? 30 years since these amazing women sat in Beijing, and they had a resolution that there's a need for 50-50 when it comes to a lot of things, education, in the workplace, healthcare, and all of those things. And the 50-50 thing was really blown out of proportion. And there's a lot of translation and about what 50-50 stood for. But 30 years after, we are still fighting for equal pay. We are still fighting for equal rights in education. We're still fighting to take space and to actually, we're still, there's a need to prove ourselves that we actually, not better, but we can perform just like men. We're still 30 years after. I don't understand, like, why do we have to work twice as hard? Why do we have to prove ourselves over and over and over again? Why, when a woman is in a position of leadership, she has to do 10 times to be seen that she's doing the work that a man doesn't even have to sweat. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not that we're not doing a great job. It's that we have to do it 10 times. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. That's why some women are like, okay, we're just going to opt for other things, because it's so exhausting. A man doesn't have to work as hard because he carries the title a man. And in Africa, a man is a leader naturally. That's what we say. So he's born with it already. He doesn't have to go. He doesn't have to go as hard. But we have to do. You go crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Can you imagine? You have to prove yourself that you're deserving of a position. You have all the qualifications, but you still have to prove yourself every day. Every day you wake up in the morning, you have to prove yourself. And all these challenges that we face at work in a position of leadership, and they would always say, oh, she's a woman. That's why. She's a woman. You know how women are. We have to go through so much in order to be in this position of leadership. So yes, there are more women taking spaces, but it's harder as every day. It gets harder every day. So you're like, why? Why am I fighting so hard? Come on, I want to go on vacation and sip a mimosa or whatnot. I can't do this corporate thing. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm telling you. When we had the IFTA the other day.
Yeah.
What's her name? She said she always had to work twice as hard in every position she was in. Miriam. Yeah. Twice as hard in every position she was in. Yeah. And it's always like that. I've seen women in so many positions. I'm sure you as well, and even Makeda, in so many positions of leadership. They always have to prove themselves over and over again.
You don't just get a promotion. You got to work twice as hard.
Yes,
Exactly.
you have to work twice as hard. And when you do get a promotion, you always have to prove yourself like you deserve of that promotion every day. You can't be normal. It somehow it gets to your head. Am I doing that? Am I doing? And then you know how with women we are the way we're born. We have a soft heart. We're very
we think with our hearts.
Yeah, we think with our hearts. We're emotional and all of those things. So we're very compassionate and so many things. And sometimes that is, people take advantage of that because we're compassionate and they take advantage. And then they see that as a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's actually a strength. It's I see it that way and it's exhausting. I always tell my friends, I'm like, yo, I wouldn't mind living in Zanzibar, being on a beach every day.
Slow living.
Swimming.
Like,
I want to retire. I want to retire early. I want to be a baby girl.
Hey.
This independent woman thing.
Baby girl.
I'm kidding. But hey, I don't know. Maybe it might get better in the next 30 years.
I don't know.
What?
I'm actually scared. Now that you said that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you see a lot of, especially now with the exposure that young men have, I feel like they're getting worse.
Yes.
And I remember doing a social listening report back in Kenya, and the sentiment around just that negativity when it comes to masculinity has become so much more. And the generations under us are so much more threatened than like our fathers were. They're actually a bit more open-minded when it comes to like, women growing and rising. So I actually do feel a bit worried, but I'm hopeful. And I guess that goes back to how we raise our boys. Yeah.
Our boys. I tell women, we have the power to shape the society because we raise these boys. How are we raising these boys? Are we raising them to think that, they can go and rule the world and everything that's in it? Or are we raising them to respect women and take them as their equal and their partners and all of those things, empower them and empower themselves? And they're not someone, or they're not people who are there to serve you, but you're serving each other. You're uplifting each other. We need to start raising our boys this way. We got that power, but a lot of, like she said, a lot of Gen Zs, and it's very scary. A lot of Gen Zs, these young boys, growing up thinking that, a woman. This is going to be controversial. A woman is supposed to be submissive, and their interpretation of submission it's very different. It's very different. It's like you're supposed to bow down. That's their interpretation of submission, and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I mean?
Like you almost shouldn't have an opinion. What I say is final.
You almost shouldn't have an opinion, but also you should. Yeah, you shouldn't have an opinion, and everything he says goes. Everything he decides goes. Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah.
This is why Lydia said in that other episode, make sure you got money.
Make sure you got money.
Make sure you're secure.
Yeah.
But then again, if you have money that say you're stubborn, you're full of yourself, and
you're
because
too hard-headed.
Yes, because you've got money, because you're too independent. Now you're there's war against feminists. I don't know where it came from. Like, feminists are not enemies, right? They're there. Like, I think feminism is just been blown out of proportion, and the interpretation of what feminism is it's not what it is. Feminists are not men's biggest enemies. Okay, They're there to make sure that our rights are being guarded, but also there's equal everything when it comes to men and women. We need feminists in our lives. They're not bad people. They're not there to, undermine the generation of men. They're not there to undermine the masculinity, whatever that men, they're not there to do that. They're only there to make sure that we get our rights, right? Education, healthcare, equal pay, and all of those things. That's why,
Mm-hmm.
But then imekuwa pushed out of proportion. Ni mtu akisema me feminist, mtu anajua tu akona shida.
You're an enemy.
I mean, men
of the state.
Feminist is in the dictionary.
You're an enemy number one of the state.
Yeah, men are also feminists.
Yeah, there are men that are feminists.
And I mean, I'm not trying to listen. Yes, you guys said you accept my Kenyan Kiswahili.
Yeah.
So I cannot siwezi beba mawe za mjengo as a woman. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not physically as strong. So I'm not trying to be the same as you. I'm just saying I am also a person. It's literally just the principle of it. It's like when the colonizers came and we weren't people. It's literally the principle of it.
Principle.
Yeah. It's just the principle. Respect me just as a human being and let me have the same opportunities. Because imagine I am a human. Yeah.
Interesting. That was quite a conversation.
We could go that conversation days. Itself can be the entire podcast. Yeah.
True. If you're to say one thing that got you this far, starting out, the experience that we have, one thing that perhaps you didn't know of it when you started, most likely you didn't, but you can see, I've reached where I am because I embraced this one thing. What will that be?
That's a good question.
Ukiambia vingine vyote, like, you know what? Run with this. Vingine vyote hata kama ukivipack. Hata kama vikiwa vina shida, lakini hiki.
I don't know. I'd say trusting myself. Yeah. I mean, I did business and IT in school. I went for this interview. They called me up, but then I had already gotten this job in advertising and I was like, no. So all the decisions that I have trusted myself with, sometimes I don't always trust myself, but when I do, it comes through. Yeah. And that doesn't always mean my intuition is always right. Sometimes it's like, I don't even know if it's but just when I do make these decisions where I trust that I know what's best for me, I always find myself where I need to be. So I would say trusting myself is is the one thing.
Yeah. For me, as she was talking, I was thinking, of course, yes, trusting and believing in yourself. But for me, I think over the years, it would be, I don't know how to put this, but I always, I'll keep going. I'll keep going regardless. I'll keep going because in this journey, so many things have happened. So many things, Makita. Like so many shifts and as I look back, it was always like, keep on going, just keep on going. And that has been my mantra in life. Anything that happens, whatever that happens, I'm like, okay, just keep on going. One step at a time, one foot ahead of the other. Just keep on going. As long as you're breathing and you're healthy, just keep on going. And for me, that has shown me a lot of things have happened over the years because I kept on going. I kept on going, not giving up, like just keep on going. Even when I was at my lowest, I was like, just book it one foot after the other. Just keep on going. And up until today, always, I get no's all the time. I just got a no last week, and a month before that. But I would always tell myself, just keep on going. Just keep on going. And for me, that has carried me through all these years.
I love that. What's that Aaliyah song? If at first you don't succeed,
yes, back yourself up
and try
again. And try again.
Yeah, if you wouldn't listen to us, listen to Aaliyah.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to us,
listen to Aaliyah.
Yeah.
I love that. So there's a notion or an assumption. Watu wengi wanafikiri kwamba the more as a woman, the more you grow in your corporate ladder, your personal life suffers.
Mm-hmm.
People believe that women at very senior positions have very dysfunctional marriages
Mm-hmm.
or have dysfunctional relationships.
Yeah.
You can't have both. You can't win you can't win family and you win in.
Yeah.
You can't win in the boardroom and you can't win with family.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
What are your thoughts on that?
The tough questions.
As you're thinking about it, let's discuss this. My personal take is I don't believe in something as balance. It can never be 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't believe in such a thing.
Yeah.
But I believe balance is how you define it.
Yeah.
There are some things that you'll have to sacrifice because you want other things more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your balance.
Mm.
For me, it feels like you've got to be clear of who you want to be because that's happiness to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then how it works out. If I'm happy, I don't care what you say.
Mm.
My dynamics, maybe my family dynamics work for me and my husband. And we are happy. Maybe mimi sio mtu ambaye nafika nyumbani napika kila siku na nini, but if nikipika siku mbili, he's happy.
Mm.
But you're defining it on me being a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're creating that imbalance.
Mm.
So for me, I feel like it's very subjective.
Yeah.
Because people are defining dysfunction based on their
Perception
of the traditional family or how it should be.
Yeah.
And we get it harder. So we get it harder. Yani kuna mwanamke wa Kiafrika inabidi awe hivi. La sivyo familia yako hapana. Usio mwanamke wa kuoa kwa sababu. What are your thoughts?
Usi marriage material. That's what they say. Wife material.
So do you think you can have it all?
I mean, why not? Yes, I think you can have it all. And I think as with everything, it's all about intentionality. You know, being clear, being on the same page with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And being intentional about it, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie, oh my God, my relationship has been so smooth. Which relationship is, even with my siblings, it's not smooth. We could sometimes go months. I haven't spoken to my sister, and
it's fine.
It's fine.
That's adulting.
Oh. But I still love you.
Yes.
I will talk to you later. But so I think if you really want something, you make time for it.
Yeah.
And you'll be intentional about it, right?
Yeah.
And if you guys are on the same page, right? Like, for example, for me and my person, we've known each other since uni. We actually even didn't like each other at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then towards the end, we, the gods were like, so he knew me before I started working.
Yeah.
And now I'm working. We're still, going together. So if you guys really, really want this, you're going to make it work regardless. And I have crazy hours at work. Sometimes I work over the weekend, wake up really early. He's been out of the country for like 2 years. And, I was...
How are you doing this long distance there? That's a topic for another day.
Now here I am. It's... do you want it or not? It's really that simple.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you really want something,
really
you're going to make the effort. You'll put in the effort.
Yes.
You'll do what it takes to keep that thing.
Kabisa.
So for me, it's all about, are you guys on the same page? Like, for example, me, I'm never going to stop working. I will... he wants kids. I don't think about having kids all the time, but I would like to have some. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But do we want to be together? I think, we both want to be together and we both make the effort.
Yeah.
And, when I'm not able to do something, he's there to have my back.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So being on the same page and being intentional about making time for each other, no matter what it is, like you said, your kupika from time to time. It could even be, there's different love languages. It could even just be, we're watching a movie, like that's all we're doing the whole Saturday, But like you're being intentional about spending time together and growing together. I think is the biggest thing. So can you have it all? Absolutely, but you both have to be on the same page. You need to be clear about what you want, and then you need to be intentional about
I think
the moves.
Yes, with Tanzania or Africa in general, East Africa, the fact that women have more. I'm not saying women have more money than men, but that notion alone that women can have more money than men, it's a foreign concept. You know what I mean? Because we are expected to be in the kitchen. We're expected to be married, staying at home, taking care of the kids and doing the house chores. Now, the fact that women are going out and working and making money, and actually some of them make more money than their spouses or what, is such a foreign concept, okay? So because there's so many expectations that are put on women, and for her to balance everything, now she's making money as well. That was not something that was regarded to a woman, that a woman can actually make money. They look at it, the society looks at it as a woman, when she start working or making money, she cannot do the housework. What's the first thing that's expected of her? And for me, I feel that that's very unfair, because what's put on a man? A man, the only expectation is to take care of the family. So you have to financially provide for the family, right? Financially, right? So you only have to go and work or whatnot so you can provide for the family. But a woman was expected to take care of the house and raise the kids and all of those things. Now a woman works as well. Now a woman brings money as well. Do you see how many hats this woman has to put on? Even though we can multitask, but sometimes that weighs on a person. So I think the expectation they need to lower the expectation a bit. And like you said, you can't do 50-50, or you can't be 100 all the time. Sometimes you can drop one, or you can drop two, or you can't wear all the hats all the time. You're a person. You're not a machine. You're not Superman. Okay, you have issues as well. So sometimes women get very frustrated because there's a lot of what's expected of them, and they feel that they have to fulfill all those expectations, and it becomes a lot. So that's why people say, or society say, that when a woman is successful, she becomes very stubborn and whatnot, and don't respect the man anymore. No, because you put a lot on her, and sometimes you don't know how to deal with that, so you retaliate. But if we can all agree that we are in 2025 and things have changed and the women are making money now, so how can we help each other? in this situation? If I can put in 20 at home, how are you putting in the 80? You know what I mean? So if we're partners and we're in this partnership together, we'll be able to help each other, and there wouldn't be any of these, quarrels all the time, that because we're making money now, then we're stubborn and we don't respect the man and all of those things. It's because they expect so much from us that we feel that it's unfair. So what do? You retaliate naturally. You're tired. You're coming back from work. You've also been working for 8 hours, 10 hours. You expected to go home and take care of the kids and do the house chores and whatnot. Oh, he's your husband. You have to cook for him. You have to do all those things. Oh, he's been back maybe 3 hours before you, sitting there watching TV. It's not his responsibility, because you have roles, because the society has put on roles on your heads, that he's supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this. If that's the case, then why am I out there looking for this money as well? If the society has put roles, things have changed. We have to change with the times, I think. And a good partner, a good man, a well-raised man.
Emphasis on well-raised.
Yes, a well-raised man would understand what this woman or what his partner is going through and try to help and try to chip in. And that's what partnership is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
100%.
That's interesting. I'm glad we're on the same page on that one.
Yeah.
To a young woman who, let's talk pressure.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
It hits you, you find 2 a.m. ukomacho.
Oh.
You are like, whoo, or you're having sleepless nights. It's a tough week ahead. It's a tough situation that you've got to make a decision. Pressure leads to burnout. I'm sure you've been in similar situations.
So many times.
Yeah. But one that was intense, and how did you handle it? I'm trying to bring these conversations to the table so that the younger kids know it happens.
Yeah.
It's okay. But how do they navigate through it? How do you deal with pressure and burnout? Because I've seen many people, especially younger ones, choose to quit.
Yeah.
Just like, deuces, I'm out. I can't handle this. This is too much for me. So let's talk about intense pressure and burnout. I know it's emotional and sometimes physically draining. How do you handle it?
Back in the days, it used to be that. Back in the days, man, it used to really like F with my head a lot. But now, I take time off when I need to take time off. I take 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, half a day, when I need to take half a day. I need to breathe. I need a minute to breathe. I need to get my shit together. Sioni aibu kabisa. If I have to, I have to. Because at the end of the day, I'm a person. I operate as a person. I'm wired with a lot of things. And if I need to take time off to figure things out, to put things together, to make sure that I'm prepared the way I need to be prepared, I take time off. Because burnout, ukiziendekeza, they will F you over. And then what will happen? When that happens, what will happen? So you take time off. I'm big on taking time off. I'll be like, even I tell my team too, I'm like, don't lie that you're sick. Just say, Bhoke, listen, I need time off, man. I need to get my mind together. I get it. Right? Because we all need that. I need time to breathe. Even if we're sitting on set, even we're there in the studio. If you're like, and that this has happened a lot of times, if you feel like you're not together to do this show, just, okay, I can't do this show today. I said, get off, just go do whatever you need to do. I understand, because I also take time off as well. So that's it. You're not Superman. Okay. Just take time off. Take time to breathe. If you need to go do meditation, you need to lock yourself in the room, you need to go to the beach, whatever you need to do it. Take care of yourself.
Don't be scared to even ask for it.
Don't be scared. Because only a person that doesn't, I don't know, what kind of a person would that be if you authentically and honestly go to them and say, I don't have everything together. I'm struggling here. I need a minute. And they'll be like, no, come on. So yeah, just take time off.
Yeah, you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you need to take care of yourself.
Sure. But then there's people who thrive under pressure.
True. True.
So there's
100%.
that
as well.
So you have to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to know your triggers. I think you know what are those things that you're like, oh my God, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, for example, like me, I can work under an ambiguity very well. I occasionally, mostly thrive under pressure. What motivates me is a challenge.
Yeah.
So if I have a challenge, I will, even if it's like things are not going as they should, so long as I'm challenged, I'm gonna keep going. When I stop when I don't feel like I'm growing, right? That's when I'm like, okay, moving on to the next one, right? But I think it's, for me, thankfully, I have so much energy. I've been able to, work through it. But it's literally what Bhoke is saying. It's knowing yourself and knowing what triggers you and knowing that actually sometimes, by the way, balance is hard. So how do you integrate things? Sometimes you'll have a project. Imagine you have to work 7 days the whole week, even Sunday. It could happen.
Yeah.
But nothing stops you from taking Monday off.
Yeah.
Nothing stops you from, like, if you're having a hard day, waking up a little bit late, saying you're going to go home a little bit earlier, saying you're going to go do a massage, So it's just finding, I'm trying not to use balance because it's not really balance, but finding the right way. Yeah. What works for you.
What works for you.
Yeah. And but you really have to find moments of release to release that pressure.
Very important.
Yeah. Yeah, you got your girl, find something. Even if it's going to the roof and screaming, just find. I used to do that when I used to go to high school, boarding school. But I just used to scream before. Yeah, that's how I coped.
But you see what's interesting about it, quite funny. And the intense pressure, you laugh.
Yeah, me, that's how I cope, by the way.
It's a very serious issue. It's like, and Rehema will
I will laugh at the situation.
That's how.
Oh my God, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that.
It was like,
yeah, because
coping mechanism.
That's my coping mechanism. And also, I think I just know what I can control and what I can't control.
Yes.
And I usually don't feel bad if I'm like, okay, so Sawa, this has happened.
Yeah.
And then, like, what are we going to do now? I could panic about it for sure.
Yeah, but it's not going to change anything, right?
Yeah. And I remember I did a personality test once, and even some of my bosses have issues with it. I'm very calm under pressure. Like, it's actually,
I like that.
It bothers some people. Yeah. I'm like, I'm too calm that it's considered like I'm not seeing the urgency of it. I'm just like, but what are we gonna do about it now?
Yeah. I have a poker face, but inside I'm burning. Like everything is just going to hell. But I have a poker face. Over the years, I've perfected my poker face.
One can tell.
Yeah.
One can tell that you're on fire.
Yes.
But you're like,
yeah, but I have a poker face. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It took years to get here.
You have to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I'm a bit different, right? Because at home, when there's pressure, I will crack and my partner will see it. I don't know
because you trust him.
Exactly. But in the corporate world,
You
like, I don't know.
trust him.
There's also, I guess, where am I? Where is this pressure?
Mhm.
Is it at home? Is it in the office? Because I'll treat them differently.
I think it's a very good thing. That's
Yeah.
a very good thing.
Yeah.
You can switch off and like, this space is different.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know.
You know, one thing I learned early in my career, I think somebody told me this. I don't know. I want to ask you guys because it's contradicting. Somebody told me, as a woman, you're not supposed to cry at work. You're not supposed to cry in front of people.
Okay.
At work.
I've heard that too.
At work. You've heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah? You're not supposed to cry in front of people.
I know
at work.
women who go to the bathroom to cry.
I
do
do
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I go to the bathroom and I sob. But then what are your thoughts of not crying? Because we're emotional, And what are your thoughts of not crying in front of people at work?
It's bittersweet, and I'll tell you why. I'll support women to cry in the bathroom, but not in front of people. I've seen that dynamic change.
Yeah.
And people
See
addressing that like you're too soft, you're too weak, and people pounce upon your weak points. It might be you're very correct in what you're saying, but they know I want to trigger them so that they cry. And once you cry, you've lost your ground.
You've lost it.
So for me, that's a thing. But I know we're also built different. Somebody cannot handle emotions all at once. I may be having a rough day. So I think I would also advise anybody, because I've done both. I've cried in the bathroom. I've cried in front of my line manager, my boss. But I think crying in the bathroom and then collecting yourself, asking for timeout, even walk away. I can't handle this right now. Let's discuss this later.
Yeah.
It helps you, especially in a male-dominated space. When there are a lot of males and you break down, they've pasted it to, I cannot even have a discussion with her because she will cry. She's feeling like she's being attacked. And the minute you're called in, he triggers you, you start crying in front of the HR. You see what I mean? That is the problem. I always think, like, handle your shit. Don't even come in.
Yeah.
Cry as much as you want, then come back the next day. I've done both, and I can say the latter didn't work out well for me.
Yeah. Crying. I mean, my tears are reserved for people I love.
Nice.
But yes, you find moments where you cry. Sometimes you can even get so angry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, it's not a tea. You're just so angry. You want to cry. But what is the situation? If for example, now the session we were having with women and then we were talking about something and you cried, I think that's okay. Yeah. But then if you're in a setting where, you're trying to maybe put your point across, but then now you start having like a breakdown, because it's also perception. What are people going to perceive?
Exactly.
And it's important what kind of reflection it's personal branding, right? What kind of reflection you put out there. You would know all about personal branding. So who is your audience? What situation are you in? And don't just cry for anybody.
It toughens you up, though. I think earlier on, as you're starting out in the industry, you're like finding your way through, you don't know, but after the reception that you get, I think it toughens you up. Thick skin.
Yeah.
Thick skin.
Thick skin.
Because you're like, I've seen this. I know this game.
Oh my God, that's so true. Because I could not handle myself. The way I handle myself now and the way I handle myself when I was 24 is very different. I'm so much tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes with the experience.
I know.
And the things that that used to like rattle you up then, they don't anymore. You know how to,
handle
them.
Yeah. And even if you don't know, like you'll be different. You'll approach it differently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it comes to, so what next? I answer so we are here. And this is the situation. We must deal with it. And so what?
Yeah.
Oh, and so what?
Mm-hmm.
You come and discover that all your responses, nobody's dying, guys.
Nobody is dying.
Nobody's dying.
It's never that serious.
It's never that serious. So you accept and you move on. If there's nothing you can do about it, you own it. There's nothing you can do about it. You'll do it better.
Yeah.
So what if I cannot do it, if I cannot handle it?
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
Yeah. How do you guys handle email battles? Do you know those people that write email, like they like to write emails and emails and emails, and they will point out all these things that you've done wrong or whatnot, and then you explain, and then they'll go back. You can go back and forth the whole day. How do you guys handle that? Oh, they used to ruin my day. Now, do you know what I do now?
I hope this email finds you well.
Yeah, noted. Noted on the below. That's it.
Myself, you send 10 emails.
If I need to reply, like you've asked something, obviously that I have to. But if I feel that this email is confrontational, I'm like, noted on the below. Kind regards. I am not gonna do battles on emails. I am not gonna defend myself on emails. I'm not, because you can go the whole day. Do you know those people that will copy your response and then would answer on the response
in red?
Oh my God! In red. Do you know? Like now, I'm in the stand. Like I'm on the stand. I don't know. I'm being prosecuted. No, I'm not doing that. There are people who are really good with the email battles. I can't do that anymore. I'm too grown for that.
There's some that even keep timestamps. Like, did it this, and then this transpired, and then you say this, and then you said, I'm like, you have time. Clearly, you're not solution driven.
Yes.
Okay.
That's so crazy.
Let's just do one email and then let's all agree or whatnot. I don't know. You win. It's okay. You win. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's
going to die.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll respond if this email requires a response.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think thankfully I've been in leadership for a long time that I'm not afraid of conflict.
Okay.
And I take, open conflict, open communication. So I will pick up the phone and I will call you and I will ask you, what the shit?
That's me.
That's me too.
One email, two email, the third.
I'm not.
It's a meeting or it's a call.
Yeah. I walk over.
Why don't we discuss this?
I walk over. If you're in the next, I walk over. Like, what's going on?
It's like, bro. Yeah. Okay, now say it to my face, please. But fighting on. First of all, I can misread your tone. Maybe it's not even intentional.
Yes.
Maybe it's how I'm feeling. So a lot of things, I think, with even text messages, like a lot gets lost in interpretation.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's always better. Just pick up the phone. Just talk to each other. I think we're so stuck on and people are so much braver behind the screen.
Oh, yes. Even on social media.
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors. It's always like that. It's always like that.
Accounts, but they can never tell it.
Yes. Let's have a conversation and see if you have the same confidence. No, they can't even utter the words out. Like, okay, I thought you were writing paragraphs. What's going on?
That's nice. That's interesting. Let's talk about something else. I'll ask you individual questions. Rehema, you've been in leadership for a while, right? Young, and you've had your share of experience. How do you balance leadership and empathy? Because it can be quite, as you're growing, you're expected to make the tough decisions. You're expected to be ruthless, for lack of a better word, because you should know where your areas are. I won't tolerate this, I won't do this, but at the same time, you've got people to lead. who expect empathy from a leader. I see a lot of people struggling with that. Let's say a decision is on the table, maybe to fire somebody. And how do you balance leadership and empathy, knowing you're a female leader? You don't want to be perceived as weak. And at the same time, you want to be a strong leader. How do you balance that in the workplace?
Well, I think first, because I am a female, I am empathetic already, just naturally.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes, even when I started out, I wouldn't really say, was I empathetic? For sure. But I think it's something, as I have grown, I've been more conscious of, that, by the way, actually, people, like for me, I won't take things personally, right? But there's people who will take things personally, right? So there's people are different.
Yeah.
And so you just have to recognize that, right? So it's something that I have learned, and because I am aware of it, as I've grown older, I'm able to do. And I do not think that leadership necessarily means that you have to be ruthless. I think sometimes that's a perception people have, because as a leader, it falls on you to make the hard decisions.
Yeah.
And the hard decisions are, if there is no revenue, we can't support XYZ. We can't, there's things you can't do. And unfortunately, that kind of falls on you. And I think that's how people end up being like, oh my God, you're ruthless. But at the end of the day, we live in a capitalist world. A business, unless it's a charity, it's got to make money. It's got to make profit. And unfortunately, you have to make the hard decisions. If someone is not coming to work, even for you, if your dada is not cleaning the house properly, are you going to tolerate that?
No.
So there's things that, yes, people will consider you ruthless because, you're making the hard decisions. But I think because I've been aware of the fact that actually you need to treat people like people, I've also been brought up that way. And I think upbringing actually has a whole lot to do with it. When your mom tells you, it's really the small things, you're taught to respect the house girl from the moment you're young. It's, it's just these small things. Just treat people like people, the conductor in the Dala, just treat him like a person. Your Bajaj guy, just treat, at the end of the day, it's a human being they've got. So if you recognize and see people as human beings, it's really not that hard to be empathetic, because we all go through different things. You just have to be open-minded about it and see people as people. Like, that's how I do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
have you seen being empathetic? Has it worked out well for you?
Actually, I think it
those
has.
Conversations well for you? Like, it has made you a better leader?
I think it does. And I think even for me, the people who really made an impact from a leadership perspective are women. Because they are more empathetic, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm on my period. I can't come to the office. Imagine a woman understands. A guy is not gonna get it. So there's things that we understand that a guy would not understand. So yes, I think being empathetic has helped me as a leader, and it's what has helped me grow and build my teams to be well-functioning teams, that the turnover isn't that high, So it's important, because people also want to be treated like people. Whether the salary is good or not. I want to be in an environment where I can thrive, and be treated like a person with respect.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah.
Oh, you said individual questions.
Yeah.
All right.
So
that was mine.
Coming to you.
Yeah.
Bhoke,
Yeah.
you're in media,
Yeah.
but you're more than just a corporate figure.
Yeah.
You're a public figure.
Yes.
But people who see you not necessarily associate you with only the people who know you because of dadas and everything, but you're also a content creator.
Yeah.
And your personalities are sort of different.
Yeah.
You show up like the lawyer who became a journalist, very serious, knows her shit, facts. And then there's Bhoke, the public figure, who's friendly, who's a content creator, who's this. And we know in the market, if you're a public figure, people keep you on a pedestal.
Oh, yes.
They expect you to show up this way. They expect you not to be riding public transport, living a certain life that is like almost when they see you, it's Bhoke. And I feel sometimes that can contradict your work character or your corporate space. How do you balance being a public figure, showing up as this is what the public wants to see this Bhoke, and being true to yourself at work?
First of all, I'm always true to myself. I'm myself first, and then the other things, they're part of my life, right? So, and what you said about the society, yes, they do put you in a pedestal. They look at you, you're the role model of everybody, and the young girls especially. So whatever you do, they always have that one on you that, oh, you're supposed to be the role model. What are you doing? You're not supposed to dress like this.
Hello.
You're not supposed to speak like this. You're not supposed to be out having fun. You're not supposed to be drinking. You're not supposed to be doing this because you're the role model. You have to protect the perfect image because there are girls looking at you and learning from you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I say. And it's very, it's mind effing a lot. This is what I tell everybody that always say those things to me. And it's a lot of them, by the way. There is Bhoke, the person that became all these things. And Bhoke has to live her life. And Bhoke has to go and sleep at the end of the day peacefully and happy. And I cannot let people choose what I should do with my life, how I should be, how I should act, how I should move, and all of those things. I'm a grown person. I'm a grown woman. I know what's right and wrong. I've been raised right. I have my views and opinions, and I'm going to live my life. And if you don't agree with it, then that's your problem. I don't live for the applause. Okay. I do not live for anybody's validation. It's at the end of the day, I have to be okay with myself.
Yeah.
So if you're not okay with what you're seeing, that's your issue. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not breaking any laws.
And you need to fix that.
Yes, I'm not breaking any laws. I'm just living my life. It's your problem that you've seen me on TV and you had this image of how I should be. That's not my issue. That's not my problem. So I'm gonna live my life regardless. If you agree or not, you don't sign my check at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. And you're not my mother. So I'm not anybody's teacher. I understand and acknowledge the position I'm in. And I know I'm privileged to be given such a position. And I know there are a lot of girls that are looking at me and maybe learning things, but I trust that they have people in their lives to teach them, and they've been raised by the right people, right guardians and parents to tell them what's right and wrong. And also they have good heads on their shoulders to know that, okay, this is, I can do this. I can learn this from her. Maybe this is not, I can't learn this because it doesn't align with my values. Okay, you don't have to do everything that I'm doing. You don't have to listen to everything that I'm saying. You don't have to apply to everything that I'm saying or doing. You don't have to. You're a person. Our previous president, what did he say? Akili za kuambiwa ongeza na za kwako, because because you're a person. You also have a brain. You can't do everything I do because you've seen me, because but I'm
Think for yourself.
Yeah. you can't. And also another thing, Makida, here's the thing, people think we're not people. Hey, we're people. If you see me in a supermarket with my flip-flops, okay, with my t-shirts, with my shorts, my hair is all crazy or whatnot, it's okay. Please don't take pictures and then put them on social media and then put the
look at how she.
Yes. Okay, the Instagram reality. No, come on, man.
Like you should always be
like
makeup
you should
on
always
and...
be on makeup. You should always, your hair should always be right. Come on. That's not life. I'm sure when you're at home and you're going to a functional wedding, you look different, right?
Exactly.
Like, so you want me to be all made up because I'm going to the supermarket? But you want me to be all made up because I'm going to the gym? Come on.
That makes pressure though, Bhoke, because
for me it's not. For me it's not. So for me it's not. That's a good thing. You do what you want to. You do what you can. I don't care if if you think you're gonna shame me or whatnot. I'm living my life. I'm happy. I'm telling you, I go with flip-flops to the supermarket, and my hair would be crazy. I haven't even showered. I just woke up. And I need milk. And I need milk, and I'm in the supermarket and I'm buying, and
this is your personal time.
Exactly. I can't be like, I can't go to the supermarket because my hair is not right, because I don't have my makeup on. God. What kind of life is that? What kind of life is that? Because this has happened to me a lot of times where you're somewhere and then people will take photos and they do the comparison on TV. Oh, you've got all these lights on TV, right? And then you have the makeup, the hair and whatnot. And then, they actually look different in person.
Come on.
It doesn't bother me at all. At all.
That's a great thing.
At all. I'll be walking. I love to walk. I'll be walking. I don't care, man. I'll be walking. You'd find me in Kariakoo. I was telling you the other day, you'd find me in Kariakoo walking. I love Vijora. I'll be buying Vijoras in Kariakoo. You find me wherever. It's okay.
You're a person too.
I'm a person too. You'd find me buying thrift stuff. I am fine. At the end of the day, no, I'm not gonna let it run my life.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it's amazing. That's amazing. Now, to end this episode, it has been really insightful. I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah,
as did we.
As too.
Right, like 15 years ago, your 20-year-old self.
Yeah.
One thing that would surprise your 20-year-old about yourself right now.
A 20-year-old?
Yes.
Ooh,
yourself at 20.
I don't want to go back in my 20s. First of all, oh my God. Oh, please.
One thing, Mbani, kumwangalia Bhoke miaka 20 au Rehema miaka 20, atasema, that's me in my 30s?
For me, I am not a people pleaser anymore.
That's good.
I'm not a people pleaser, and this goes to even my relationships. I always say this on the show: their age doesn't define maturity, right?
Yeah. Not
necessarily, but for me, it has done wonders. It has done wonders. When what they say, it comes with the age. I think for me, wisdom came with age. And the things that I used to do in my 20s, Makida. Even when you mean like kumpa mshahara wangu, a guy. Way. Hey.
When you go in your 20s and you slap your self-conscious.
Mshahara. And then
were you in love?
Yes, I was in love. He was working too, by the way. Oh, yes. Nikampa.
Okay.
What was happening there?
Definitely.
Like, was he
People
gonna...
pleaser.
He didn't have money.
Okay,
And he was
at that
working
time.
and he didn't. But at 20, you give somebody your salary. I was very selfish.
And honestly, I think that's so noble. But
I was living at home. My mom works, so was working. She's retired now, working. So I felt like I didn't need it as much as he did, right? I could eat at home.
Oh my God.
The bills were paid.
You were practical about it.
Yes. I was driving my mom's car. She would fuel it, and I was driving it. But I had to just drop her to the office, and then I felt like he needed it more than I did. Oh my God! I'm telling you, I don't want to go back to my 20s. Eh?
Definitely, on that note, Apana. We're happy.
No, man, no.
20s was beautiful. 30s is even more beautiful.
Yes,
I gotta say. At least I've got some money.
So your 20s, remember, you're gonna have loads of money.
Actually, you know what? That is what I will tell my 20-year-old. It's okay, girl. It's fine. It's fine. You know, you're you're in school right now, but you'll get so not a lot, but you'll get some money. I think for me,
that's nice.
definitely wisdom.
Yeah.
As there's so many lessons I've learned. Like I'm not the same way right now compared to my 20-year-old self. Was I studying? Yes, I was in school. I'm so different and so much more wiser, I would say. But I think what I would tell my 20-year-old self, I guess, would be even where I am now, just because like I'm a leader or whatever, I still don't have everything figured out. I'm still trying to figure some things out. I'm still growing.
Yeah, and I never have everything figured out.
Yeah. You know? So I think by the time I was 20, first of all, I felt like I'm never going to become 30. Like 30 is so
far.
It's so far
like
away.
30 is old people.
I said, dude, and it was just 10 years away. And then I got here and now time is moving like, my God. It's like, where is time going? But I would be like, imagine, I honestly, when I was 20, I would have thought by the time I'm 30, I have everything figured out. But yeah, I don't, and it's okay.
And it's very okay.
Yeah.
It's very okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm growing every day. I'm learning every day. Do I feel like I'm on the right path? Absolutely. Do I have everything like figured out? Oh my God, this is gonna be my puzzle by the time I'm 70, you know? No. Like, you know, so take it easy on yourself, forgive yourself, but trust yourself.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
This is beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was a very
Kida.
insightful session. I really enjoyed this. I kicked off some career sessions. You know, there's some ladies there thinking, we want to see an episode on corporate. How is it from people there? So I think it was a rich conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll pick some learnings or two. Anything else you want to sign out? Is there anything else you want to add on?
I guess what I would say is the best thing you could do for yourself is just work on yourself. You know, sometimes, usually, you know, you want everything figured out fast, right? Like you want the career to come, you know, you want to get money, but if you work on yourself, see a therapist if you need to.
Yeah.
Imagine it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So work on your inner being and the rest will follow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For me, don't stop being grateful. We're busy comparing ourselves to other people that we don't look at all the blessings that we have in our lives. So just stop and smell the roses. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some there. Stop and smell the roses. Always be grateful. At least you're breathing and you're alive and you're healthy. And yeah, just stop comparing yourself to other people.
That's true. You always think it's better on the other side.
You think the grass is greener on the other side. It's not.
It's not.
It looks greener, but really is not.
Enjoy where you're
at.
Yeah.
All right. And that brings us to the end of our episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you sooner than later. Bye.